Hello everyone, welcome back with another video. Top 10 Dogs with Unusual Jobs. Dogs are humanity's best friends. From the first moment humans tempted wolves into being friendly with some scraps of food, human and dog evolution have gone hand in hand. Today, we have bred our best friends into an amazing range of breeds to suit any jobs that we want done for us. From sheepdogs to lapdogs, there is a dog for every job. And some of those jobs are stranger than you might think. Here are 10 jobs you never knew a dog could do. 10. Helping children testify. Is there anything more comforting than a dog trusting you enough to let you pet them? When they rest their head on your knee, you know you have made a new friend. It's not just a warm feeling they can provide. Dogs have been employed to help the legal system function with their comforting presence. Children who have to testify in court can find it traumatic due to the pressure put on them by the situation. With a judge, lawyers, and a jury all staring at them, a young child can be terribly intimidated. That's where a canine companion can come in handy. Dogs are being used to help children testify. A trained dog can help a child right from the moment they report a crime to the police until they speak in court. When in court, the dog is usually concealed with the witness behind the stand. This lets them comfort the child without distracting the jury, as humans will often pay more attention to a dog than the person with them. 9. Friar. Dogs and religion are a divine combination. From Saint Roche, a saint who was comforted by his dog, to Saint Christopher, who was often depicted with a dog's head, to Saint Guinefort, a dog who was made a saint, humanity's love for dogs has often come close to worship. On a more mundane level, monks and churches would often keep dogs to guard their gates. One monastery in Bolivia has decided that one dog is such a good boy that he deserves his own uniform. Friar Carmelo is a Schnauzer. Carmelo was photographed dressed in a miniature version of the monk's own habit, taken from a puppet used to amuse children. Since then, the canine friar has become a social media darling. His internet fans have dubbed him Friar Mustache for his distinctive facial hair. While the official belief of Catholics is that animals cannot get into heaven because they lack eternal souls, their souls die with their bodies. Some popes have left the pearly gates a little ajar for our animal friends. Pope Paul VI told one boy whose dog had died that one day we will see our animals again in the eternity of Christ. Paradise is open to all of God's creatures. 8. Truffle hunters. Truffles are one of the most valuable foodstuffs on the planet. Because of their symbiotic relationship with trees and their complex life cycle, it is not possible for us to farm truffles. If we want their rich flavor in our food, we have to go out hunting for them, but not with our own limited noses. Some animals have much more sensitive senses of smell than we do. Pigs are well known for their ability to snuffle out truffles under the ground, but they also have a tendency to eat the truffles they locate. Dogs are much less likely to wolf down the precious fungi. Some dogs are trained to associate the distinctive smell of truffles with pleasure mere days after their birth. In Italy, the Lagotto Romagnolo breed of dog is now associated mainly with truffle hunting. It used to be a hunting dog, and it still is, just not hunting for animals. 7. Ball dogs. Catching and retrieving balls is one of the most popular pastimes for our canine buddies. So why do we use boys and girls for this task during tennis matches? That was a question one Brazilian tennis tournament decided to answer. Several dogs who were taken from the streets of São Paulo and dressed up as ball boys and girls and let loose on the court. The aim of the game was not to replace their human colleague, however. Because the dogs were strays, it was hoped that spectators who saw the dogs would want to adopt them. In the first year, all 4 ball dogs were adopted. Soon, more strays were brought in. The strays were not always the most obedient of court assistants. They quickly mastered getting the balls, but sometimes proved unwilling to return them to players. And they were only used during warm-ups. Who could concentrate on a tennis match when there are dogs to look at? 6. Art protector. When we think of dogs as protectors of valuable items, we tend to think of snarling guard dogs straining against their chains to ward off robbers. Riley, however, protects fine art from more subtle dangers. Riley the museum dog works at the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston to detect the many pests that can threaten the conservation of artworks. Pests as diverse as moths and rats can all destroy art in even the best-run museum. Riley uses his nose to sniff them out before they can create havoc. Riley was introduced to the museum at a young age to get used to his surroundings and to train him not to damage the artworks himself. Riley has since become a mascot for the museum and even features in his own book, The Adventures of Riley, the Museum Dog. 5. Cancer detector. A dog's nose is incredibly sensitive. While humans have around 6 million receptors for smell, dogs can have up to 300 million. Dogs also give over a much larger proportion of their brain to interpreting the smells they detect. It is not surprising, then, that dogs can sniff out things that might seem impossible for us to imagine. Some dogs are so sensitive to changes in smell that they can tell when their owners get sick just from their odor. Other dogs can be trained to detect certain diseases in people they have never met. Daisy the dog has been trained to tell who has cancer. Having checked over 6,000 samples, she has correctly identified 550 people with cancer, including her owner. Daisy kept nuzzling and pawing at my chest one day, which really alarmed me, her owner said. I got it checked out and was told I had early-stage breast cancer. Fortunately, I was able to have it removed, but if it wasn't for Daisy, it would have gone undetected for much longer and could have been more serious. For her work in healthcare, Daisy was awarded a Blue Cross medal in 2014. For Cheetah Befriender, the health benefits of owning a dog are well known. As well as the exercise we get from playing with dogs, there are dramatic mental health benefits. Loneliness and depression can both be reduced by the comforting company of a dog, and not just in humans. Cheetahs are built for speed and sprinting on the wide plains of Africa. A small enclosure in a zoo can leave them anxious and depressed. Constantly on the lookout for a larger predator, they can feel threatened by the hordes of humans staring at them. A dog can make the perfect companion to calm the cheetah down. Despite the mythical antagonism that is said to exist between cats and dogs, both animals seem to enjoy being in each other's company. The dogs offer a soothing presence and sense of companionship, while the cheetahs give the dogs a playmate. 3. Anti-tank dog. Not all the jobs given to dogs are ones that go down well on social media. In times of war, humans often recruit their animals as allies. These animals can be put to work as beasts of burden, guards, or even weapons. The anti-tank dogs of the Soviets were designed as weapons and single-use ones at that. The plan was to use the dogs as a way of delivering bombs to the vulnerable underside of enemy tanks. At first, the dogs were trained to release their bombs when they arrived, but in the chaos of battle, this proved to be too much for the dogs. They often returned to their handlers with a live and dangerous bomb still strapped to their back. Next, the dogs were fitted with bombs that detonated as soon as they brushed against the tank. Unfortunately, the Russians used their own tanks to train the dogs. The dogs thought they would find a treat under a tank and so sought out the ones they were most familiar with. When anti-tank dogs were deployed in actual combat, most were killed before they reached any tanks. Some turned back towards their trainers and had to be shot by their own side. Fortunately, this is a doggy job that no good boys have to train for anymore. 2. Penguin protectors. Invasive species can completely wipe out a species, and human attempts to halt the spread of such species can often backfire tragically. In one case, however, the results have been cute. Middle Island off the south coast of Australia is home to a colony of the world's smallest species of penguins, but they have come under threat from foxes. The fairy penguins are as petite and darling as they sound, but have no natural defense against foxes. Natural changes to the coast had allowed foxes to access the island when the tide was low. When researchers checked the population of penguins on the island after foxes had arrived, they found that hundreds of penguins had been killed. In 2 nights, foxes had slaughtered 360 of the miniature birds. It was a local chicken farmer called Swampy Marsh who came up with a solution. Used to protecting birds from murder-happy foxes, he suggested using dogs to guard the penguins. In the 10 years that dogs have been protecting the fairy penguin, there has not been a single death from foxes. 1. Max the mayor. Even the most beloved of politicians will have their detractors. You would be hard-pushed, however, to find anyone who hates the mayor of Idlewild, California. He's a dog. Born Maximus Mighty Dog Mueller II, he has been mayor since he was just 11 weeks old. Mayor Max is not the first dog to be named mayor of Idlewild. His predecessor, Max I, died while in office, and the current mayor was found after a hasty search for a replacement. The first mayor, Max, won his position in a charity event against a range of other pets. Since Idlewild is an unincorporated town, it has no government of its own, and Max's position is mostly honorary. Max too now spends his time spreading happiness to his constituents. Wearing a tie, he can often be seen on weekends touring the town in the back of a pickup truck and barking to his fans. Despite an assassination attempt when another dog went for Max's neck, it seems his lifetime appointment will last for some time yet. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.